One big part of open source ecology's work is how we involve large numbers of people to collaborate with us, and one way to do that is by crowd processes around just about anything that we do, from video production to production of graphics, images, to of course the design and anything else that we do. So with respect to design of icons, we're working on a pattern language icon set to help us, one, document, and then two, actually design the machines. So here's a process where we do this.
In this session, I'll demonstrate the use of some tools in Inkscape to create icons for open source ecology's icon library. The first thing you'll need to do is have Inkscape installed, as well as to download the icon grid template and the icon reference image from the icon spreadsheet in Google Docs. Once you've installed Inkscape, open it and then open the template file. So I'll do it right away. Okay, once you've got the icon grid template open, you want to import the reference image that you'll use as the base, the underlay to trace over. You can go ahead and import it as just a link and place it in the center of the page. If you want to zoom the page, go to the view menu, select zoom, and then go down to page, and it'll center in the screen. To open the layers panel, go to layer menu. Here you'll see we have 5 layers open. 2 are unlocked and there are 3 that are locked. The 3 that are locked are the grid, the breathing room, and the live area. The live area is the size, sort of a rough size of how large the interior contents of the icon should be. So we want to enlarge that. Holding down Shift and Control will restrict the proportions of the image that you're resizing. Now, just to make sure that it's filling the live area, I'm going to reduce the opacity of the image a bit. You can do that here at the bottom. It says 50%. I can still increase the size a bit. Zoom out. Somewhere about that size, right? Then once you've resized the reference image to the size you want, you can go ahead and lock that layer. You want to make sure that it's inside that layer first. Right? So now you can't move it around anymore. And then select the icon layer, and we can start drawing on top of it. Since these shapes are pretty basic, I can go ahead and use the rectangle tool to start creating some of these basic shapes. Okay, so I have the first rectangle there. I want to change the color, so go to Object menu and select Fill and Stroke. And in the fill category, you want to make sure that the first block, solid color, is flat color, is selected. In this case, I want it to be black. See, it has some transparency here, so I want to remove the transparency, make it 100% solid. Okay, so that's the first part here. Right, you can see that's the first part of our icon. Ready. I'm going to use another square here for the bucket of the backhoe here. Now in this case, the bucket isn't exactly rectangular, so what we want to do is Object to Path, and that will allow me to manipulate every node individually. So here I selected the path edit, the node edit tool. Click on the node you want to edit, and then with the cursor you can just move that node in any direction you want. So now that I have the bucket shape roughly symmetrical, I want to move it over so it's center aligned with this vertical bar. So you go to, if you want to really make sure that the alignment is correct, go to Object menu and select Align and Distribute, and you'll see a whole new panel opens up. Here, instead of relative to page, you want to do relative to selection, right? I have these two objects selected, so when I select center on vertical axis, it will align those vertically. So now we have the bucket. Now I'm going to create the bucket teeth using the rectangle tool again. These are just small little rectangles. To zoom in, you can use the plus key, so it'll be quicker. Here it has 4 teeth, 2 on each side. And to copy this rectangle, you use Control Copy, and then to paste it in place, Control Alt V, and create a copy right on top of the one underneath it. So that way they'll stay aligned. I want to copy those as well. I'm just going to again, I want to make sure that these are aligned, that they're distributed evenly in this space. So I'm going to align these to the right first, this one to the left. Okay, so there we have the teeth now. Now I want this rotational axis to be a hollow circle. Again, holding down Control and Shift will restrict the proportions of the circle so that it stays a circle and doesn't become an oval. And you want to change the stroke to black and remove the fill. And you want to make the thickness of that stroke 10 pixels. Right, 10 pixels is the minimum thickness we want any lines to have, really. Now I want to align these 3 items so that they're perfectly vertically aligned. You can go ahead here. You'll see that the align panel is docked. Undock it, make sure that the align relative to selection is selected, and then go ahead and vertically align it. Right. So that's the first part of our icon ready. Just get a look at what it looks like. It looks nice and clean. Next thing will be to trace this lock. So for that, I'm also going to do a solid here, rectangle. Okay, so I need to invert this. I want it to be a solid shape and not just an outline. So I want stroke to be 0 and fill to be solid, black. Right? So I'm going to add a circle here. It's actually oval this time. And to make sure that they're the same size, I'll align those. This one here at the top, you'll see the dimensions of the circle. Right now it's 91.592 pixels. Just make that 90, and then make the square, the rectangle, also 90. So now we know that they're the same size, right? And I'm going to go ahead and align those again, and I'm going to increase the width a bit, have them both selected at the same time, So now we have the bottom part of our lock ready. Now we just need to finish off the locking mechanism. Using the pen tool, the Bezier curve tool, start the line by clicking and a node will appear, and then if you hold down Control, that'll help you make sure that the next point is aligned with the first point. And if you click and drag, these anchors will appear. That's important because that allows for smooth curves later on. You can smooth the curve out a bit. Next point, and then the last point, and then to finish that shape, not close it. Now you can edit this if you want. Zoom in a bit. So that this becomes a nice curve. That matches the underlay image. Alright, so that's pretty close, and then I'm just going to increase the thickness to 20 pixels. There we go. Now the only thing I'm missing now is the keyhole for the lock. Creating a circle using the circle tool and holding down Shift and Control. And now I want to create a rectangle underneath it. So that's pretty much our keyhole right there. Now I want to join those two, merge them, union. Alright. Then I want to change this to white, not black. And I want to join the rectangle and the circle and make the base of the bottom half of the lock. Go to the path menu, select union, it makes it a solid shape. And then I want to align the outside shape with and the keyhole, make sure they're centered. I'm going to raise it up a bit. Right. And then I'm going to use the path tool again and do difference, and that'll knock out the keyhole from the base part of the lock. And there you go. That's the icon pretty much ready. Now I'm going to hide these layers, and there we have it. Icon's ready. So I'm going to save this as the reference image was called the swing lock. I'm going to save it to my desktop right now, and then that file you'll upload it to the cloud, either Google Drive or Dropbox, and share the link and paste that link in the icon spreadsheet in Google Drive. All those links will be in the description below this video. And if you have any questions, you can always get in touch with one of us or join us on Saturdays for the design sprint. Thanks.